Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaking Fast Broadcasting. Wednesday night, it is hot and heavy as the drivers get prepared for race number 4 of the WSSR Roasted Gens Cup Series as the drivers get set up for some amazing racing here tonight. It's gonna be at Atlanta for the TrophySmack.com 200. Race number 4. We've had 3 different winners, and the trend continue on. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Freaking Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is going to be Joshua Altus, and Josh, tonight certainly should be a good one.
That it should be, Sam. I am so excited to be here. We're going to watch some great racing tonight in Atlanta. It's going to be hot. It's going to be slick. Tires are going to be a necessity for these drivers. So I think it's just going to come down to who can save those tires the best.
It certainly could be, as these drivers, honestly, have tested these skills with this car before, and they're going to be seeing what speed can be grabbed here tonight, because there is a lot of different aspects of this track the drivers got to test just slightly over the off season, and they had themselves a race here during the off season, during the recruitment stages, and they got to test out just for about 60 laps on what this track can be, and got to see some surprise winners of that race, as Brandon Colley actually found himself in victory lane during that time. But Benjamin Nelson, who's the fastest during practice, is the driver that everyone has circled up to be the one to watch out for after his win last week at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the drivers, prior to us going live tonight, and a couple of things they noted. I think restarts could be a really, really big factor tonight. They talked about tire spin, getting back on the gas, even when you're on fresh tires, how tire spin could be a key. So, yeah, just like you said, I think Brandon Colley, obviously, our winner from last week is going to be one to watch for. If it's anything like last week, Sam, at Las Vegas, I think we're in for a good night tonight.
I certainly do believe so. As the drivers are done with practice, qualifying now underway. Now each driver going to be given 2 laps to put down their fastest time, and they only have 5 minutes to do so. As ripping the top is going to be the 16 of Joshua Kanata, but a poor exit, trying to slow down and showing you want that track position. And Kanata going to reset and get back out there for another chance. Other drivers getting out on track. We got about half the field already ready to maximize on their speed. Here's the 60. Going to be Gregory Smith ready to maximize in the exit of the corner. Looking to be slightly loose for these drivers on these cold temps. Josh, this is going to be a fun, interesting adventure with just qualifying, let alone get to the race later on.
And Sam, that's something I feel like doesn't get enough credit. Qualifying is so important for these races because there's, you talk about the talent level in here and all the different drivers, and there's so many different guys that are capable of winning each week. And qualifying is a major, major factor. Start toward the front of the field there, so you don't have to burn your stuff up or risk getting caught up in an accident. Further back in the field. So yeah, if you can get that good starting spot, get a good pit stall, that's going to be a really big difference than if you're starting the back tonight.
Majority of the drivers have put down their first laps on where they're going to be placed, and Benjamin Nelson, after 2 laps being placed in 79, going to be the fastest driver with a 31.1 being the time to beat. Brad Delp going to be second on the board, and coming out of the exit turn 4, here comes the 60 machine. Gregory Smith wanting to get up top, but he bounces off the wall, invalidating his time. And the 60 will have to settle for 9th place, currently still half the field, needing to put down their time for qualifying. And it's Ryan Kelly. Strong start for this 3 machine as he's on top of the board currently for the field. To watch see Christopher Wade. What is the 53.5 for speed after their last time comes across 11th? Seems to be the fastest that the 11 can find.
Yeah, going back to Ryan Kelly, provisional pole right now. That's huge that he's over Benjamin Nelson. As we said, Cedric Hunter jump up to the 2nd position now.
And here's the trophy smack machine. Going to be watching out for the 28 first lap for Brian P. Johnson. What's going to be a 31.2 second lap time, best for 15th, and hoping to top the board. Brian, a driver that's won, is trying to get back into victory lane here at Atlanta. Did so back in season 1, but they were in the Gen 6 car back then. Now they're in the Gen 4 and the 28, maxing out on all the spacing on the track and across the line. Brian P. Johnson, 16th up to second. Ryan Kelly survives as there's a minute and 35 seconds left in qualifying.
Massive lap there for Brian P. Johnson to put it on the front row. Right now, we still got a couple guys that could be putting times down. But and as I say that, here comes the 7 car that puts in second place.
Trying to put in a better time, just one lap in. Douglas Newbigging's going to be currently second on the board. That's going to be the only time that's registered in. Other drivers trying to put a time going to be the 42 of Cole Sacchetti. Throwback scheme to the Kevin Harvick days when got to see the white good wrench machine and hoping to get some good luck. Different number as Cole Sachetti's first lap going to be a 31.22, best for 23rd. But it's the second lap, Josh, that seems to be the faster time.
Yeah, I mean, I think just having a little bit of heat in the tires, maybe that first lap, try to warm up a little bit, and then try to lay your flyer down for the second lap. But yeah, that's a great looking 42 machine there, Sam. Cole Sacchetti always does a great job with his paint schemes, and that's a nice little touch, the throwback to Kevin Harvick right there.
Certainly is, and going to be bumping up to 15th position after the second lap is done and dusted. 27 seconds left in qualifying. Doesn't look like there's anyone else, out there on track. And drivers are finishing up their times as currently it's Ryan Kelly, top of the board, with Douglas Newbigging, Brian P. Johnson, and Larry Yingling going to be the fastest drivers out on track as we are getting ourselves prepared for the race this evening. It is going to be a grueler 133 laps, and they are getting prepared. We do want to let everyone know we are having slight technical issues in the background as our program that gives us the live timing has, as you can see on screen, kind of having a mind of its own currently. But we hope that it can get it fixed at some point throughout this race. But we'll do our best to inform you on where all the drivers are as qualifying is officially done. I want to give a shout out to our qualifying sponsor, being Brandon Colley's mom. Colley's mom always hoping to see the best in qualifying. But tonight, the one qualifies outside of the top 10. We'll get to where he's at shortly as we'll give you the rundown of our 35 drivers and where they're placed. Kyle Rochelle going to be taking the pole award in the 3. Douglas Newbigging going to be in the 2nd position. Brian P. Johnson in 3rd with Larry Yingling in 4th. 5th goes to Cedric Hunter with Isaiah Sutherland. Good to see the 14 out on track. Going to be taking 6th with Benjamin Nelson. My favorite to watch out to win here tonight. Going to be starting in 7th with Joshua Kanata in 8th. 9th position will go to Nolan Hicks. And finishing out our top 10, it's going to be the 01 of Aaron Kralik.
Starting 11th, just outside the top 10, there's the number 6 of Brad Delph. To his outside will be James Heater in the 18. 13th will be Kyle Rochelle. 14th, Brandon College, you just touched on. 15th will be Cole Sacchetti in that sweet Kevin Harvick throwback. And to his outside will be the number 15 of Ken Campbell. Starting 17th, Ollie Fonseca had a tough week last week, looking to bounce back. To his outside will be the number 74 of Nick Crawford, who I talked to at the beginning of the race. He said he struggles here, so if he can get a top 10, that'll be a win for him tonight. Starting 19th, Brian Ferreira, and running up the top 20 will be Danny Cochran.
Then in 21st position, 77 of Ryan Noel, going to be hoping for a good run for the 77 machine. Shane Terrian, not qualifying run the 9 was open to have, but he's hoping to find the speed once we go green. In 22nd position with Noah Steele in 23rd, Prairie Smith in 24th with Christopher Wade in 25th. Chris Stitz starting in 26th position. Brandon Zimmerman starting in 27th. With Zach Hall all the way down in 28th spot. We'll see if the 32 can climb throughout the field. Cutter Moniz going to be in 29th to finish out our top 30. It's going to be Mason Cassidy.
And the last 5 drivers, starting 31st will be Jonathan Cogswell. 32nd, Devin Brock. 33rd will be Brian with an I, Johnson. 34th, Ross Tatum, not putting a qualifying lap down. And starting shotgun on the field will be James Kaufman.
As those over your 35 drivers will be starting out here tonight. Again, going to be 133 laps for the field. We will have competition caution at lap 40 if there is no yellow flags being thrown, and as well, no fast repairs, 5 extra sets of tires in pit road to work with. We weren't given exact fuel mileage for these drivers to work with. We're expecting around anywhere from 40 to 50 laps for fuel so they shouldn't have to worry about pit stops before that competition caution. Or if we get a yellow before lap 40, that will also count as our competition caution. The field is set. We're ready to get rolling. You're watching the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series as it's race number 4. The TrophySmack.com 200 race is about to get underway. Thank you so much for joining with us, everybody, as we are excited to give you the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Joshua Altus, Robert Maury Jr. running productions in the background. And into the restart zone, we're green here at Hot Atlanta. A lot of wheel spinning already. Contact Cedric Connor, Benjamin Nelson, and the field scatters as we weren't even able to get to the line before the big one strikes. Yellow flag yet to be thrown. We continue to stay green, and somehow there's no yellow flag, but danger could be striking for the front runners.
What a start, Sam. I mean, we touched on it right when we came on air, talking about how tire spin could be crucial, and I am shocked that there was no yellow thrown for that. But man, what a wild start to this race. We didn't even get going, and we've already had so many cars have issues.
And already major commentators curse. Benjamin Nelson has been sent to pit road immediately, and the 79's race could be done. Seeing some other drivers deeper in the field. Cedric Hunter back there. Chris Stitz, that gray driver that you saw, was going to be James Kaufman, whose scheme is not loading up properly. That's on everyone's side that is having the issues there. But so many fast drivers deep in the field. Ross Tatum, only back in 29th position. But it's Cedric Hunter who had the major wheel spin that caused all the calamity. And you might be wondering, why was it the yellow thrown? Well, for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series, in the rule book, it is based off of iRacing. If the game does not throw the yellow, no yellow will be thrown. The admin race control is the one that's in complete control of making sure that any black flags are cleared, but has zero control over the thrown yellow flag. So the field's got to be banking on, if there's going to be a caution, they're going to need it to come out quick, or just bank on the caution at lap 40.
You know, Sam, you talk about that. That's normally an issue at super speedways, where the bigger tracks where there might be more room, where cars can spin to the apron or off track, and generally, that's when you'll see sometimes those cautions not coming out. But I feel like that's very rare for like a mile and a half, especially in the middle of the track on the start there, for that not to be a caution. So definitely gonna this is put a whole new wrinkle in the race now. As one of our favorites, Benjamin Nelson looks like might be behind the wall now.
And also another driver going into pit road, Ken Campbell, wire damage for the 15. That looked to be a broken toe link for the 15 machine. He will have to sit in pit road for quite a while. But up front, it's our top 5, very close to one another. Larry Yingling, Brian P. Johnson, Douglas Newbigin, and also Sutherland, the 14, having his first race of the season, joining in last week after the amazing race at Las Vegas. Wanted to join in with the fun. And our top 4 all on top of one another. The rest of the field scattered across this track.
Yeah, these are the guys that we can call that got away right before the calamity struck behind them. So thankfully these top 4 had a nice clean start. Jockeying for position a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be Larry Yingling who's controlling the pace right now.
And with all the mistakes and drivers losing positions, major gains for a lot of drivers throughout the field. And currently, it's Brandon Collins to survive through the chaos and is our biggest mover of the drivers inside of our top 10 currently, up 7 positions. Other drivers up big. Noah Steele back in 13th, up 10 spots. And as well, Brian Johnson, that's Brian ran high, and was only back in 23rd spot to find himself up 10 positions as well. Brad Delp, who looked to be quick during qualifying, fell down the leaderboard after some of the faster drivers put in some quick times to 6. In a heated battle behind him with Ollie Fonseca and Nolan Hicks.
I'm interested to see, Sam, now that we had that crazy start, what drivers may have actually picked up, some optional damage. And I think that'll show as the run goes on here if guys are, have any aero damage and, maybe some more of those front runners who are, didn't get enough damage, required damage to come and have to bring it in right away, but maybe they got some optional and it's slowing them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's still looking at the leaderboards. You see the ticker and all the gaps and the massive kind of disparity between a lot of drivers. And the caution that was needed and necessary does come out. It's the 60 machine of Gregory Smith. It's going to be spun around, and this will count as well for our competition caution.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Gregory Smith right there, but fortunate for a lot of other drivers, they'll be able to come in and check out and try to assess what kind of damage they have, and probably just a good reset for the field. But yeah, that's tough to see for Gregory Smith.
And Gregory Smith, heavy damage for that of the 60 machine. And as you see there, that will be our competition caution. So no yellow will be thrown at lap 40 anymore. These drivers can go clean and green. If we can get another clean restart, I think that's going to be a big question as we're getting our replay up. Driver that's going to be getting the lucky dog, Ken Campbell, was able to stay in front of Benjamin Nelson before the yellow flag came out. So the 15 will get one of the 2 laps back. Drivers are now going to be able to come into pit road and get some pit stops, but this is what brought out the yellow. Going to see the 60 really close in quickly on the 91, but it's going to see Cogswell lift up the rear end on the 60, having no grip. Major spin out in front of Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, you can see the 60 got a pretty big run on the 91 there, and I don't know if he had to just lift a little bit to make sure he didn't get into him, and that slight little lift, it looked like was just enough for we talk about chain reactions a lot, and it looked like one of those type of chain reactions there, Sam.
That it certainly did, and now driver sitting in pit road. A little different call. Brian P. Johnson, who was challenging up front for the lead position, going with a different strategy than Larry Yingling, the 28, leading the pack to come into pit road. We got 13 drivers, though, decided to stay out. Larry Yingling going to be starting out up front with Sutherland, Newbigging, Brandon Colley, and Ryan Kelly going to be your top 5. And then the rest of the field going to be from 14th on back, getting either damage repair or 4 tires and fuel. Interesting calls all around.
Yeah, very interesting calls. I mean, we've only got 10 laps on these tires, but like we talked about, Sam, Atlanta known for one of the most aggressive tire chewing tracks out there. We always think of Larry Mack with his cheese grater showing the analysis of just what it's doing to those tires. So even though there's only 10 laps on them, could be a good call for these guys to come in and get some fresh rubber.
It really could be, and might be wondering why so many drivers are at further back than really where they started. Cedric Hunter being one of the bigger ones, Nolan Hicks and Aaron Kralik, a lot of them caught up in the early wreck before the race even officially took off. Right when the green flag was woven, major drivers had wheel spin, Cedric Hunter being the first of many. It was the 13 that got spun around with Benjamin Nelson being caught up in a major wreck. And now it's time to see on this restart, will we see drivers now that are on older tires, will they have an even worse wheel spin situation here once we go green with this next restart?
Well, and just kind of touching back on that wreck, Sam, there is nothing more frustrating as a driver when you've practiced, you've qualified, you're ready to go for race night, and your night is seemingly over before it even starts. And even some of these guys who like we mentioned, maybe didn't have required but have optional, and they've got a damaged race car, and they've got to battle back now. And and to your other point, on this restart, these guys that didn't take tires, I mean, we saw the wheel spin on cold and fresh tires, but it's going to be really important to try to get your tires cleaned up as much as possible, especially the guys that stayed out here in this top 13.
Time to get set up and ready to roll. And with this timing of this caution, as we get the 1 to go marker for the drivers, we're going this next time by. I want to give a major shout out to our major sponsors that help out at the WSSR Cup Series. That being the title sponsor of Roasted Gems Coffee. Roasted Gems Coffee is a great way to start your day off right. Go over to roastedgems.com, use the promo code WSSR for 5% off on your next purchase. They got a wide range of blends that you can try out. They got max caffeine, vanilla, or so many others that you can grab today. Thank you so much to Roasted Gems Coffee, who's been a major title sponsor for the last couple of seasons, and as well another sponsor that hopped on board last season and is the major trophy sponsor for this season. That's Trophy Smack, who's also the head sponsor of this race. Go over to trophysmack.com, use the promo code WSSRCUP or WSSR Smack for 10% off for both codes. Thank you so much to both of our major sponsors here today as we are ready for our first restart of the race. The initial start went horrifically wrong, but can the take 2 get any better? Larry Yingling Sutherland getting up to speed, a little bit of wheel spin for Sutherland, gonna give an opening, and oh no, they wreck once again, and it's Brad Delph and others that get caught up in the mess, and the yellow flag is thrown, and this is gonna be a long one, Josh, with that spin out again.
Yeah, I mean it's lining up on par from my notes, Sam. You know, I talked to a lot of drivers before the race, and it seemed like a major concern, even more than tire fall off, was the restarts, and I think we're seeing why now. It's just you got to be so careful. You can barely touch the throttle. It seems like to get on, and you're just lighting up your rear tires, and man, that's a tough break there. Two restarts and two pretty major reds in a row there, right at the start finish line.
And there are some major contenders also caught up in the mess as Brian P. Johnson got a lot in that wreck. Same for Shane Terrian, both drivers that have been trying to get a good launch, but the drivers in front of them not able to do so as drivers getting penalties cleared after trying to avoid the wrecks and going into pit road. Others just having to make some evasive maneuvers, but Brandon Zimmerman as well is going to be seeing Kaufman. Drivers having required damage forced into pit road. This is going to be a tough one for these drivers. I think once we get green, it should be great racing. This initial starts are rough right now.
Yeah, you know, this is just one of those scenarios, and it's really, really hard as a driver because, you know, when you're lining up for that restart, you know, most of the time those are your opportunities to gain spots, right? Because we talk about things getting spread out and being tough to pass, and so, you know, a lot of times restarts are the time to go, but you got to kind of weigh your risk versus your reward. If you know, you don't want to get on the gas too early and take yourself out of it before you have a chance to even be in it. So yeah, we just need to get a clean restart here, and I think we'll see some great racing, Sam.
Expecting to see it happen. Looking at who's going to get the lucky dog, and I believe it's going to be the 15 of Ken Campbell. 2 cautions in a row, and the 15 is back on the lead lap after being involved on that lap 1 incident on this initial start of the race. The 15 able to get back on course, and that's got to be a good feeling for Ken Campbell. But Benjamin Nelson, who's on the other side of the coin, still trapped 2 laps down, and with more drivers getting caught up in messes, there are now a few drivers going to be in front of the 79. 1 lap down, and the more cautions that build up, the more drivers were expected to be still stuck 1 lap down.
Yeah, that's what we like to call the death sentence. Normally, if you're 1 lap down, you're still in it. You can get the lucky dog, you can get a wave around. But when you go that 2nd lap down, it makes it so tough to get back into contention. And like you said, Sam, you just gotta, you know, almost hope more people get caught up in things, and you can kind of start jumping people in the leaderboard, or maybe potentially, you know, try to get a wave around at some point just to try to get 1 lap down. But yeah, it makes it a very tall task once you go that 2nd lap down.
That it does, as the field, again, a report of where drivers are at with tire-wise. It's going to be our top 10 on older sets of tires compared to those 11th on back that have gotten fresh rubber on the last caution. Drivers that just came into pit road to get repairs done. Nolan Hicks, Zach Hall, and everyone from 24th on back just came into pit road to get service done. Those repairs so crucial after being involved, some in just that first caution, others in this most recent one. And the field is going to have to mentally prepare, get ready. I know over the driver's radio after that last caution flag that just came out, we're saying, hey, maybe let's just start in 2nd gear instead of 1st gear for some. I mean, Josh, finding the right gear and the maximum best restart you can have is always a little bit of a gamemanship that we don't think about very often up here in the booth.
Yeah, that's for sure. The lower gear you start in, the better jump you can get, but you're more susceptible to tire spin. So, you know, if you have a little bit of a higher gear, it's not, you know, it's a less of a chance to spin those tires. So if some of these guys are starting in 1st gear, just like you said, Sam, maybe 2nd gear, if you really want to be safe, maybe even starting in 3rd gear just to try to get things going. So what do you think, Sam? Are we going to see 3 for 3 pile up on the restarts here? You think we'll get away clean here?
I think we have a chance to get away clean here. I think the first time everyone had their jitters, they were excited. A lot of drivers love Atlanta. They just wanted to get this race rolling. The second time, a little bit difference on tire wear, and drivers just weren't prepared. They now get a lot more understanding on the tires. The only bad thing is for drivers that just got fresh rubber, we didn't really get that long of a run to put wear and tear in. Those tires could be even colder than what they were on that last restart. So there is a chance we could see another wheel spin incident. But I got a feeling we can make it this time around and not get caught up in a mess.
We believe in everyone. Let's let's get this thing clean and green, and let's get to racing here. So, but yeah, great point there about the tire differential, Sam. Those tires are probably still going to be pretty cold, so definitely going to be something to watch out for here.
Every restart's been a hazard, but Barney the Flag Man brings out the green flag, waiting for the drivers to get into the restart zone. And let's try this for a third time. The TrophySmack.com 200 at the O8 configuration of Atlanta is back underway. A much cleaner start for the whole entire field. We make it to the line without a wreck. Now let's see if we can get through a one lap without a wreck for themselves.
That's a much better start than what we've had so far. So everything looks clean and green so far, and great jump by Larry England here in the 67 to grab the lead.
It's successful, and now starting to see drivers right on the top, going to the inside. On Atlanta, so many different lanes and grooves to use. It's the middle of the field, looking like a hornet's nest up front. A lot of single file racing. Larry Yingling, Douglas Newbigin looking quick for themselves. But the drivers on older tires, this is going to be the first sign for us to see if fresh rubber is going to be a major advantage to watch out for, as Joshua Kanata is going to be the first driver up to ninth position, trying to go through the field, but up front, Brandon Colley looking good on the outside lane as the 16. You can finally see Kanata in that purple machine moving his way forward.
Yeah, Joshua Kanata is slowly starting to make his way up now, and you know, I'm interested, like you said, Sam, since we had that quick caution, you know, if it's going to be, oh man, look at that, we're all over the place here. But yeah, go ahead.
They were rubbing doors and fenders there through the corner. Danny Cochran and Christopher Wade somehow able to keep it together. And even with these small contacts, that's what this car can give you. Small little bumps allows you, as long as you don't lift up the rear end of the car in front of you, you guys can slip and slide, bang, and bang, and make it through the corners. And that's exactly what we've got to see there, as now Ollie Fonseca sending it and ripping the top.
Yeah, really, really good job by those guys. You know, especially after the start we had to avoid you know, heavy contact there. So yeah, everyone's slipping and sliding around right here, trying to jockey for track position.
Hopping on board with the Trophy Smack machine. It's going to be Ryan P. Johnson. Going to have Kyle Rochelle right in front of him, the 99. Really slow, struggling on the older tires currently. And it is now a major clog up of drivers now going three wide out trying to get around this 99 who is just being a valve holding off drivers. Finally gives an opening to the outside lane, and Ryan will take that advantage. But once again, the 99 trying to hold off everyone behind him.
This is a hold your breath moment if you're the 99 here, Sam. Struggling on these older tires, you got a hungry pack behind you. You see Ross Tatum and Cole Sacchetti right there trying to get around, as well as Christopher Wade. So yeah, this is the hold your breath moment. Hopefully everything goes smoothly here.
Trevor's going to be through line for a quick second as Noel will be on the inside lane of Christopher Wade and others. It is jam-packed of drivers trying to get through as we're right on board with Cole Sacchetti, and Sacchetti is getting a great shot in his mirror in front of the 42, though. He's trying to follow Ross Tatum, but he's trying to go forward as fast as they can. Talking about moving forward, fresh tires working out for our front four. As that is Joshua Kanata, who's finally moved up to fourth place for the 16 machine. He's got Brandon Colley to the inside, as well as New Bigging. Larry Yingling, the 16, just ripping the top. He's got the rubber to use, and why not get up to the lead as quick as possible?
Yeah, Joshua Kanata ripping the top lane right here. He's going to go all the way to second place right here, and he's going to be looking for the lead here.
To the outside, gets to the quarter panel, and even using practically the wall through 1 and 2, carrying so much more speed, and able to take the lead as the drivers are wrecking behind. Middle of the pack, it's another big one as drivers not able to slow down. Benjamin Nelson involved, and others piling on the exit of turn number 2.
And third caution of the day so far, and some really good cars being taken out again, Sam.
And over the radio, immediately taking fault is going to be Zach Hall. And once again, major closing rates on these drivers on the entry of the corners, and looks to be Zach Hall running over Kyle Rochelle. And drivers trying not to run each other over, but right now here, Zach Hall closes in on the 99, tries to move up, but the timing wasn't there, just clips the rear end. And as the 99 goes around, the rest of the field has nowhere to go, and everyone starts to pile in.
Yeah, that's just the difference. We talked about tires and timing there, and it looked like Zach didn't anticipate the 99. Maybe running that slow in the corner there, and just throttled up and a little too soon, and unfortunately just got in the back of him right there. And that was right around that pack we were just talking about, Sam, talking about holding your breath and trying to pick your way through there. So yeah, tough break for a lot of these guys right here.
And as the drivers continue to drive through the incident, there's a couple of drivers that I think in the trucks, the next gen car, we would be hopping and hooting and hollering about arc braking, drivers just piling in. These Gen 4 cars, completely different brake systems than what more current vehicles drive. And I mean, Josh, you've ran in these vehicles. These brakes don't work very well.
Yeah, I can be the first one to attest to that. I've gotten caught speeding on pit road a couple times with these things, and they're hard to slow down. I remember Zach Hall specifically talking about them. These cars have just such a higher front brake compared to some of the other, Xfinity truck cars, whatnot. And you really got to be mindful when you're getting on your brakes, and they don't slow down very easily. So especially coming to pit road, being able to get on those brakes early, and instance, like you're just saying, trying to miss a wreck here. It's not quite like some of the other cars where you can get on your brakes pretty hard and stop instantly. It takes a little longer to get slowed down. So yeah, definitely a tough situation when they're wrecking in front of you. Don't have a lot of time to get it woed up.
And looking as well, I'm thinking it's going to be Jonathan Cogswell given the lucky dog position to get a wave around, get back on the lead lap. But I'm not 100% sure if the 27 will get that lucky dog spot because I believe every driver that was a lap down got caught up in that wreck in some form or fashion. And it's another tough pill to swallow when you got an opportunity for a yellow flag to come out and not able to grab one of your laps back. But 27 laps in, Josh, I got an interesting thing that I'm looking at. Drivers, some 27 laps in, have already used 2 sets of tires. I know they've got 5 extra in pit road to work with here tonight, but using 2 already in the first, not even 30 laps of a run of this race, kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Sam. When we were looking at the notes, I'm thinking, okay, we got 6 total tire sets, 5 additional tires. Really shouldn't be too much of a factor, but like you're saying, we've had such a rough start here. It might be something we need to start keeping tabs on and see who has tires left at the end of this thing.
And drivers up front going to be our top 7, deciding not to come to pit road. And leading the charge into pit road using their second set is going to be Joshua Kanata, who was going to have the lead, who took the lead right when the yellow flag came out, deciding to, I think, just be on the better advantage, I would say, in the early portions of this race. He's the 16, who, as already shown, fresh rubber is key to get up front.
So it's interesting, Sam, because now you've got 2 separate groups, essentially. You've got the group that have stayed out and maybe haven't taken tires, and they're hoping, I think, for some more cautions and for kind of continuing the pace we've been at so far. Because, say we get another caution in 10 laps, maybe they come in and they have the differential now. Where, the folks that have taken 2 sets, like Joshua Kanata, he's hoping we can kind of get this thing clean and green, and he'll be able to utilize those new tires and pick his way through the field again. So it's very interesting, with the strategies and kind of the 2 separate groups and what they're hoping how the race plays out in different ways.
Well, we have our lights off on the pace car as we are getting ourselves ready to go. Brian B. Johnson in the Trophy Smack machine, helping to get into victory lane in the sponsored race by Trophy Smack. It's TrophySmack.com. 200 at Atlanta. And the 28 has been quick, but can he keep the speed? Ross Tatum is our biggest mover currently, up 32 positions. Trying to keep the track position, but going to be on older tires. Again, is our top 7. Rest of the field just got some freshies. And let's see how they can take off. Will we have our third restart of the race and restart that comes with calamity? Or will we have a clean launch like our last restart? Here we go. Pace car is off into the restart zone, and the field crosses their fingers, and we get up to speed as Brian P. Johnson is already 3, almost 4 car lengths ahead of the rest of the field.
What a huge start by Brian P. Johnson here, getting out in front in that clean air. But the battles for second, Ross Tatum and Cole Sacchetti side by side.
Gonna be side by side. He's the 21 and the 42, and the driver again, watch out, is the 16 of Joshua Kanata, but Ross out of the advantage. Nick Crawford trying to get into the mix. Talked about this driver right before we started the race. Josh, on the fact that the 74 didn't feel too confident here tonight. Well, now having his first opportunity to be up front.
Yeah, I talked to Nick, and he just said he has never been able to figure out Atlanta, no matter what kind of car he's been driving, and a top 10 would be just awesome for him tonight. So great to see him using a little strategy, getting a little trap position. Let's see if he can hang on to it.
Major wiggle by the 34 of Ryan Ferraro in the middle of the field, but it's the 16 that's on the charge. The purple monster trying to make his way forward. Also following him is going to be the 7 of Douglas Newbiggie up to 5th and 6th position as Ross Tatum tries to hold off the rest of the field. And this is all the battling for second place. It's the trophy smack car. That's Brian B. Johnson trying to continue to pull away. A little bit under a half a second is the gap as Kanata just bounces into the third lane, finds the speed, major wiggle by the 21, and the pass for second about to be done and dusted for Kanata.
Yeah, Kanata is taking advantage of these fresh tires as he should be. He's run the fence. He's run as Ross Tatum gets a little bumper, 3 wide behind him.
3 wide behind, and it's going to be Douglas Newbiggie in the fresh tires as well. Watch out, it's going to be the 2 now, trying to find an opening to get underneath Nick Crawford, Danny Cochran, the next driver in line, and Larry Yingling, who's these drivers with fresh rubber, really having to be surgical on when they cut and move through this field, as it is so crucial not to make a mistake. As drivers deeper in the field going 3 wide, the 9 of Shane Terrian having some slight slip-ups, as they're going to be 3 wide, and watch out as Larry Yingling makes the pass on the 2 of Danny Cochran, and now up to 4th place.
Sam, I don't even know where to look right now. We got 3 wide racing, we got 2 wide racing, all the way throughout the pack right now.
Everyone's just searching for that one spot advantage that you can take, and if you have an opening, an open lane that you can utilize, the drivers on fresh rubber, because the heat's finally mounted up, they are taking advantage and moving forward. And as we've been watching the great action in the middle of the pack of everyone moving and making these passes, the 3 of Ryan Kelly makes the move on the outside. Joshua Kanata has already taken the lead position and is pulling away.
Gosh, Joshua Kanata is taking off, and he's got a pack of hungry wolves in his mirror. You do not want to be in that eye of the storm right around where Ryan Kelly and Brandon Colley, Ross Tatum, Nick Crawford, all those guys are. That is, I call it the kind of the meeting point, right? Where you got the guys on the older tires and the newer guys coming forward, the comers and goers, and that's kind of where everyone's meeting at right now.
And let's get a view of what it's like with some fresh rubber hopping on board with the 1 Brandon Colley, really working those hands on the exit of the corner, and hearing the drivers during the off-season when they had the recruitment race here at Atlanta. It was this driver that got into victory lane during that race, and it was based off of a tire advantage call of taking 2 tires in a late caution stint. Could be a good strategy to learn for later on in this race. Brandon Colley showing that you've got a lot of wheelmanship if you're going to keep this car moving straight and fast.
Yeah, Brandon Colley doing a really good job so far. Don't think he quite started where he probably wanted to tonight. Started back in 14th, but was able to evade those first couple pileups at the beginning. And now he's making a move for the top 5 right now. So things going right for Brandon Colley so far.
Getting by Brian B. Johnson, and Brian Johnson in the 28 machine. Hey, kudos to him for at least staying up front and getting the massive launch that he got. Really has already learned how to get the restarts down. The rest of the field still struggling to figure out on these restarts. And out comes Ryan Kelly to make the move. Other drivers that are trying to catch up to this group going to be Ollie Fonseca and Isaiah Sutherland back in 9th place, trying to close in the gap as quickly as they can. Other drivers talk about that kind of valve course where drivers have been side by side and going backwards. That's going to be the 42 of Cole Sacchetti and Nick Crawford, still being passed 3 wide, 4 wide at times. Was drivers back half of the field still looking like a log jam at moments.
Yeah, and again, these are just hold your breath moments. If you are on those older tires, you know you're not going to be moving forward. You just kind of want to try to minimize the damage, so to say, and you definitely don't want to get caught up in anything. You're on a different strategy than everybody else. Just take care of your stuff, try to settle in as much as you can, and then you'll have the advantage later on when you get put some fresh tires on.
Jay Tarrant to make the pass over Isaiah Sutherland, seeing a major wiggle from Noah Steele as the 9 and the 14 slight battle between themselves as you see Caddy and Christopher Wade getting past one another and just watching the driver still that took fresh rubber being a lot more patient further on back. Also see the 79 of Benjamin Nelson still mired 2 laps down to the 79 who qualified up to 7th position, but not going to be able to show out on how quick the 79 could have been here tonight.
Yeah, that's a real shame. I was really looking forward to watching Benjamin, in his pursuit to go back to back. Had a great car last week at Las Vegas. Got that win, and I know he was really excited coming into tonight. So, obviously we're far from over, but we're still going to need a lot of help for him to get back into this thing.
As drivers battling side by side, Brian P. Johnson trying to hold off the best he can through the outside lane, trying to carry momentum with his old tires, but he's just a sitting duck to everyone else that has over a 16-lap advantage on their rubber over the 28. Brian might be banking on a yellow. The movement that's also going down is for the lead position, as the scene, Joshua Kanata has fallen back to 3rd place, being hounded by Danny Cochran and Brandon Colley. It's Larry Yingling and Douglas Newbigging side by side on who's going to keep the lead position.
Douglas Newbigging is looking for a big bounce back. We touched on last week. He had a fueling issue in his car last week. He was one of the front runners last week and definitely did not get the result he deserved last week. So great to see him up here challenging for the lead now.
Yeah, I mean, Douglas was one of the drivers inside of our top 5 all throughout last week and also showed some great speed at Rockingham. I think Douglas is going to be a favorite to watch out for, especially once we get to the playoffs later on in the season. But the question now kind of looms for a lot of these drivers. In this field, being as competitive as it is, there's honestly 5 to 8 drivers you can list off that we're expecting to get into victory lane at some point this season that have yet to do so. And that's crazy to think because we've already had 3 different winners this season.
Oh yeah, it's like we talked about earlier. I mean, there's just so much talent in these races, and just depending on how strategy goes and how races unfold, it puts different guys toward the front. And when you got your opportunity to be up front, I mean, you come in and you might have an opportunity to steal a race, even if you didn't run up front all race. And then you've obviously got your guys who run up front every week. And that's what makes it fun when you start getting all these multiple winners. So very fun start to the season so far, and we might get another new winner tonight.
Certainly could be. As we watch the grouping, this is battling for just inside of our top 15 as James Heater and the 18 machine trying to find some good runs, but he's being heavily pressured as Nolan Hicks in the 86 struggling to find grip, it looks like, on the entry of the corner and slipping and sliding. There's Benjamin Nelson with a major slide for the 79. So we're watching the battling in front of them. That's going to be the 53 of Christopher Wade, James Heater, Brian Johnson, and Johnson still falling backwards. And if you're in the mentality of Brian Johnson, is it a hopeless feeling that you're having if you're the 28 and other drivers that decide not to come to pit road on the last yellow because of the fact that this race, we're starting to get pretty strung out? Could be seeing this run turn into a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, this is definitely not what the guys who did not pit, they didn't want this situation. They probably wanted, maybe a 10-lap sprint, 15-lap sprint, and then let's get a caution, and we'll come get the fresh tires, and then we can be the ones charging through the field. But when things start getting spread out here, and, knock on wood, doesn't look like any cautions happening at the moment, it's kind of a lonely feeling when you're just continuing to drop back just because you have such older tires than the guys who are passing you.
Well, speaking of lonely feeling, here's Eric Kralik kind of in no man's land. He's got a driver in front of him being 7/10 in front and a driver 7/10 behind, and kind of just watching the battling in front of him, which has been a good one to watch. Dakota Moniz, Brian Noel, and Ken Campbell, the 3 drivers that are pulling around one another. And Brian Noel, one of the drivers that decided not to come into pit road on those older tires, and certainly putting on a better fight than you would expect, just outside the top 20. And this is a run for the 77 machine, just trying to stay out of trouble and survive the night without being caught in a wreck.
Yeah, this is just what he needs to do right now. Just kind of bide his time, stay out of trouble, and shout out to the driver just in front of him, Ken Campbell, who he was one of those drivers that got caught up in that first wreck of the night right at the start of the race. I think he went 2 laps down, didn't he, Sam? Got 2 free passes, and now he's back to the 20th position.
Yeah, the timing of the yellows were perfect for Ken Campbell to get back underway. But in front of him, issues. But it's Brian B. Johnson spun around in the middle of the backstretch, and the rest of the field has to dash to the inside to get out of the way.
Oh man, you hate to see that for Brian P. Johnson just hanging on those old tires, and interested to see what happened here.
As Brian is now limping his way forward over the radio, saying that his iRacing froze up. And that is the reason on why his car reacts dramatically. We get the replay up for you. Look to be a just one car incident. Could be seeing a couple of other drivers involved with this, but the big thing you want to watch out for is going to be the front wheels. When iRacing locks up for a driver or they have mechanical errors, the wheels just go chaotic on you and they will just randomly lock up. So watch out for the front wheels here. Heading through turns 1 and 2 is Brian Johnson. And then his iRacing is just going to freeze right on the exit as we zoom in, watching the tires. They're just going to do a quick snapping motion. And that's when you know his iRacing is done. And he's hoping that no one's going to make contact. There's the snap. And at this moment, Brian has zero control of the car. He's just hoping that he doesn't get collected with any other drivers.
Yeah, really great camera work by Robert there, showing us exactly what happened. And man, that's just such a tough break, man. You're just running on your own, trying to survive, doing a really good job on those old tires, and just completely out of his control. Just completely lots up, and that's gonna ruin his night.
And as well, you saw their late contact Nick Crawford, who at the time also was seeing the 28 blinking just slightly, and there was contact made for Nick Crawford. Luckily, it wasn't required damage, but it's certainly optional on the front right. The 74 is going to have to deal with as the whole entire field comes into pit road, except for Brandon Colley, who's going to stay out to get at least a bonus point for leading a lap. Which those bonus points can be very crucial for late race. It's anything close to the playoff time on drivers trying to point their way in, as Colley is trying to do so. As we're about to hit lap number 50, we've got 4 cautions in total here tonight. I think it might be time for us to take a quick commercial break. As drivers that are a lap down coming to pit road to get their service done, we are going to step away. When we come back, we're going to give you more of the amazing coverage here for the WSSR Road to Gens Cup Series. You're watching the TrophySmack.com 200 at Atlanta. Been a pleasure, and we will be back right after this to give you more coverage of Atlanta's racing. They're 5 wide behind for fifth.
Oh my, the 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. Look at it, that's it. It's
Bottom line, here it comes.
Oh,
Oh no,
no,
Carter
he's
gets
fine.
wrecked. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another.
Trinity driving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
but he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck
Oh,
him.
they wrecked! They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no! And the 4 demolishes into 28. And we are back to green flag action for the WSSR Roast to Gems Cup Series. You're watching race number 4 of the season, the TrophySmack.com 200 at Atlanta. And Brandon Colley initially was the leader on the restart, but he's already fallen back to 12 in just one lap, having over 25 lap holder tires in the rest of the field. Already struggling terribly. This one needs a yellow badly, and there it is. Contact wreck as everyone gets slammed behind. It was just too slow, and drivers pile into one another. Oh my goodness! Noel tumbling over and over, and someone help him. He's stuck, turtled. Will Ross help him out? Doesn't look like it. Noel's gonna have to take the tow to pit road.
Another big wreck, Sam. This is you don't expect these kind of wrecks at Daytona and Talladega, and we're seeing them tonight at Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be, maybe there's a full moon out there somewhere that these drivers are blowing with, but this is a wild night of racing. We've lost our first driver, going to be Ryan Ferraro, who's called it a night. And I mean, it wasn't surprising because we were seeing the similar scenario that brought out a lot of our green flag cautions where drivers, a slower driver just comes closing in and accordion effects through the line where everyone just gets spun around. And Noel, I mean, right there trying to slow up, but Nolan Hicks just not enough time for anyone to slow down quick enough. And just you see the rear end of the 86 get lifted just slightly, and immediately we're seeing the 86, 77 spun around right in front of the field. And once everyone's parallel with the perpendicular with the field, it is a log jam, and it's the 77 bouncing to the outside wall, but it's the second contact with going to be Nick, of Nick Crawford. Oh no, it's actually Ryan Ferraro, I believe, that comes down, and it's just such a slow contact that just sends the 77 barrel rolling on the infield.
Yeah, that's a wild looking wreck. It's kind of similar to the Zach Hall and the Kyle Rochelle incident where the 99 was slow. This time it was the one of Brandon Colley kind of checked everyone up, like you were saying, Sam, and just a weird accordion wreck. Just guys not really being able to tell how much they're slowing down in front of each other, and what a kind of lazy looking flip that resulted in. So just kind of a wild race so far, really, Sam. We're not even halfway yet.
No, we're not. And interesting call. But I mean, a lot of that really, again, was circled around the one, Brandon Colley being just so slow that the rest of the field didn't have any time to react quick enough to slow down. And there's no way to predict being over 2 seconds faster than the driver in front of you going through the corners. It's just such a major difference in speed. And we'll see if anyone wants to come into pit road. Looks like majority of the field not going to come into pit road. The only driver that I'm expecting to hit pit road should be the one of Colley. He's 16th position now, and he's going to decide to continue to stay out. So the one risking with another gamble here.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that he's deciding to stay out here with just how quick he started. And yeah, I mean, right, you alluded to it, Sam. He started actually in first there on that restart, spun his tires, and I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was. You know, he did a good job of keeping it under him, and you know, he fell back. I think you said the 12th within one lap. So interesting call by Colley to stand out here, and I guess he's just trying to save as many sets of tires as he can right now.
A very interesting a call there, and certainly drivers looking for every little bit of speed that they can grab. And I'm curious on one of the fastest drivers and driver that's been using up their tires a lot here tonight. It's already used up 3 sets. Joshua Kanata, curious on how his thoughts are feeling back in 4th position for the 16. As the lights are still on, we're expected to go one more time around for these drivers. And curious, Josh, if he's feeling comfortable or not on this upcoming run that he has with the rest of the field. As we get to pull down the 16, let's see if we can call in Joshua Kanata. Josh, it's Sam and Josh up at the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, you've been the most aggressive on taking tire sets. We're looking at the numbers. I think you've used at least 3 of the 5 already. How are you feeling for the rest of this race? Trying to conserve on the tires, or are you still going to be aggressive here?
I'm hoping this will go green for a little while, because if we give another caution here in like 20 laps and another 20 and another 20, we're going to be in some trouble. But definitely trying to save for as long as we can, and hoping maybe this will go to the end, or at least a little while.
Yeah. Well, Josh, this is certainly going to be a wild restart. How are you feeling on these restarts every time we go green?
Nervous. There's a little bit of wheel spin even on fresh tires, so we have to kind of be careful rolling into it, and just trying to dodge the mess, I guess. But got a good group of guys up here. Hopefully we'll be good. Knock on wood.
We're crossing our finger, knocking on wood, and hope for the best. Good luck, Josh, and we'll send you back to your team.
Thank you. Don't curse me.
No, we're going to curse him. He's going to get in trouble. It's time for us to get back to Green Flag Racing at TrophySmack.com 200. I've already cursed one driver, but probably it's already going to hit Josh, and I'm so sorry if this restart does not go well for yourself. I got to say, the power has been in our hands the last couple of seasons here in the WSSR, and we'll see if the power is still there. Is Josh going to be cursed, or will he survive? Pace car is off into the restart zone. We're back to green flag action. The TrophySmack.com 200 is back underway. A much cleaner start for most of the field, but it's Larry Yingling going to be taken off up front already, 2 car lengths ahead of Danny Cochran and Newbiggie.
Yeah, great start by Larry Yingling right here, and just touching on what Joshua Kanata said, let's see if we can get some green flag laps here, because if we keep up this pattern, just like he said, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he certainly could be. And drivers that are on the move, going to be the 9 of Shane Terry and the 3 of Ryan Kelly. Kelly, remember the 3 was the pole sitter of this race. He just was not able to get the launch that he needed to stay up front, and has gone with more risky calls of using up his tires as well. And the 3 get to get by Kanata, and everyone's single filed out for our top 6.
Yeah, first time we've really seen single file racing all race, Sam. It's pretty much been 2 and 3 wide on all these starts and restarts, and even racing, after the starts. So this is kind of a little different change of pace right here.
I think also what's going to help with that is the fact that majority of the field is on similar set of tires, and I think that's why everyone's able to kind of gradually get into this point. 18, James Heater going to be up to 9th position. James Heater looking for a better finish here tonight. Been having some good qualifying runs the last couple of weeks, but once we get to the race conditions, the 18 is falling back. This is probably the best run we've seen come to the halfway point of the race for Heater, as pressured by Cole Sacchetti. Christopher Wade on the move, trying to close in and make these passes, or I've been seeing drivers just settle in for now, as Noah Steele back in 12th position has had some major slide with the 88 instead of the top 18 still.
Yeah, really good job by a couple of these guys. James Heater that you just talked about, Christopher Wade, these guys running right around the top 10. Good time of the race, about halfway, just kind of settle in, lob some laps, and especially some of these guys that have taken a lot of tire sets. They definitely want this to stay green now for a little while.
Sergio Connor in 17th position, having Codonies currently behind him. This 13 has been caught up. A lot of the major wrecks was the initial start of the race wheel spin victim that caused the major calamity, and he's been fighting back to the racing conditions for himself. We've got a couple of these wrecks here tonight. 13 dealing with some right side damage. He's going to have to try to get more of that damage repaired. Currently settled in 17th position. Not terrible, but obviously not where the 13 wants to be after qualifying in 5th.
Yeah, the way this race has gone so far, so many drivers have got caught up in incidents and whatnot. There's still a lot of racing left, and there's time to still get a good finish. So, Cedric Hunter, one of those cars that had issues on the very first wreck of the race, so he's already rebounded here to 17th, and there's still time for him to keep climbing further up the leaderboard here.
Still trying to climb his way through. Another driver that's been caught up in a lot of wrecks, Brad Delph, Jonathan Coxwell in 19th and 20th position. Both just in survival mode. Jonathan Coxwell qualified in 8th position, but has been struggling at times. The drivers that aren't struggling and are up front, Danny Cochran, Shane Tarian, both up over 15 positions, and currently battling for up front in the top 3. Shane Tarian has caught up to the rear end of Larry Yingling, but can the 9 get his second win of the season? One back at Rockingham, and really didn't look like a threat until recently in this race. This 9 right on the back bumper, but looking to be the better speed for the 8 for that of the 67.
Yeah, Shane Tarian, you know, he was kind of quiet last week at Las Vegas, and I was kind of surprised coming off of, you know, that big win at Rockingham, and had been pretty quiet tonight so far. But I guess for this race, if it's a quiet night, I guess that's a good night for you so far.
Absolutely. If you can keep yourself out of trouble with the amount of carnage there's been, it's a good night to be had. Danny Cochran also, the 2 machine in 3rd place, just trying to continue a good just survival run. Has had some terrible luck in a lot of the series that we've been watching Danny in the last couple of seasons. And tonight, just trying to keep with the consistency. Talk about this the last couple of weeks a lot. This series, kind of the WSSR, has turned into the all-star series, you could say, for Freaky Fast Racing. So many different drivers from other leagues have joined on Wednesday nights and wanting to show out and say, hey, I came from this league, and I'm showing that we are probably the fastest league out there. And Danny Cochran coming from the ISRC Truck Series that we see on Monday nights. He got a good finish on that of Monday night, got a top 5 finish, and now try to carry that momentum to Wednesday nights.
Yeah, and it hasn't been a easy season for Danny in the Monday Night League, so it's really great to see him up here, you know, 3rd place, and as Douglas Newbegin is starting to work on him as well for 3rd.
As Newbegin trying to get by if he can, but it looks to be more so Danny Cochran having the opportunity to get to the inside of the 9 to Shane Tarian. Tarian starting to have mistakes showing on the exit of turn 2. It's been 2 laps of a big slide, and trying to keep the momentum as they squeeze off the exit of the corner, battle for 2nd place. Starting to get slightly dangerous, especially with how close they get on the exit of these corners.
Yeah, things are heating up right here. You see Shane Tarian kind of trying to work that high line now, where Cochran's going to try to make the pass, and it looks like he's going to complete it for 2nd place right here.
Completes it, and now setting up to pressure Larry Yingling as Larry has given up some time at moments to save his tires, and once he sees battling behind, starts to gap out, giving himself some breathing room to set up for some bigger moves later on. Man, massive block, though, from the 9 of Shane Tarian, right on Douglas Newbegin's front bumper, and now the 7 to the inside, taking the pass for 3rd place. This 9 machine not looking comfortable as he gets passed by another driver.
Yeah, Shane looks like he's searching a little bit right here, and that's a dangerous block to throw right there. So, yeah, it looks like he's just trying to kind of settle in, and he's got some more challengers between the 7, Ryan Kelly, and even Ollie Fonseca's snuck up here in the 6th position.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie has been moving up ever so slightly in the 24, and now up to 6th position. Qualified back in 17th place, up 11 positions is Ollie. Right on board with 3 of Ryan Kelly. Polsetter trying to march his way up to the lead position as getting by Shane Tarian. Now watching the battling between Douglas Newbegin and Danny Cochran. This 3 kind of allowing the 7 to be the spearhead. Just follow the 7, you'll find yourself going forward.
Yeah, it almost reminds me like an old school short track, like old school Bristol or something, where if you can get the spearhead, as you call it, you know, in front of you to do all the hard work, you can just kind of enjoy the fruits of their labor and just kind of fall in right behind them.
Danny Cochran still fighting on the outside lane the best that he can. Got to be careful. A big slide off the exit of the corner. Doesn't get into the driver, but it's one that does get into the wall on the entry. It's the 3 of Ryan Kelly. He might have got a little bit spooked watching the 2's rear bumper.
Yeah, these guys are really starting to slip around here, and you got to be careful, especially on the outside here as you throttle back up and get in the gas. It's really easy, like we've talked about all night, just the tire spin and you know, it can be really dangerous if you get back in the gas a little too quick, gets that rear end out, and could have you go around, especially if you got something right under you.
And looking at the last time these drivers came into pit road is Ollie Fonseca, big wiggle off the exit of the corner of 2. Fuel could be an interesting thing to watch out for. Last time a lot of these drivers came to pit road was 24 laps ago, and that is right around the window to turn this race into a 1-stop. Might have to save a lap or 2 to make it turn this race into a 1-stop from here. So drivers that have been backing off a little bit more dramatically, that could be their mindset of I need to save my tires to make sure I get to the number I'm looking for, which would be around that of 93 to 95 to come into pit road, or you might be trying to save that fuel.
Yeah, why not, Sam? Let's throw one more element in this crazy race. We've had track position, restarts, tires. Why not throw in fuel strategy too, and just make it a complete wild card race?
And, I mean, this is what Atlanta used to bring all the time. This configuration, the 2008 of Atlanta, no longer the Atlanta that current NASCAR drives on. That's more of a super speedway type race, and drivers love the slipping and sliding of this old configuration. The tires just get torn up, and that's why we're seeing so much of the rear end just wanting to kick out every time you touch the throttle. And drivers love this type of racing, as well as the fact that these cars really allow you to save the vehicle a lot more than current cars do. The next gen, the trucks, the Xfinity car really likes to grip up, and you can see some massive wrecks. It's more so what we've seen tonight is if you hit someone through a bumper and lift up the rear end, that's when you have no chance to save it.
Yeah, this is. I would say this is a perfect mix for a driver's racetrack and a driver's car. You know, it builds loose as the tires wear. It's a lot of throttle control, a lot of slipping and sliding around, and guys love it when you're able to, you know, just wrestle the car and really kind of you know, manipulate it to try to get the most speed out of you can, and kind of live on the edge.
And on the edge is what we've been watching. All of this got Cole Sacchetti finally able to make the pass. Isaiah Sutherland. I haven't talked a lot about the 14 debut race for season 7, excuse me, for the 14. Sutherland was hoping for a good finish and run here tonight. Got to say, for a debut race, qualified 6th, now running in the top 10. This 14 is looking very neat and tidy tonight with all the chaos that's been around him.
Yeah, really solid run so far for Isaiah Sutherland. Like you said, you know, to come in here pretty fresh, doesn't have, you know, the last couple weeks to fall on and race around this group, so it can be tough when you're racing guys that you haven't raced, you know, recently. So doing a really good job tonight, just kind of clean and green, and you know, running up solid in the top 10 right here.
And running on the inside lane, driver that's been running on the top lane just hit the outside wall on the backstretch. That's Nick Crawford, still sticking to that extreme high line. Interesting to see. And also the driver that's following him on that third lane, going to be Benjamin Nelson, who's trying to rip the top. But certainly a very high risk, high reward move to see from the 74 and the 79.
Well, speaking of Benjamin Nelson, Sam, a kind of an interesting thing now as we're looking at the live time he's scoring. He is actually the first car, you know, a lap down right now. He's multiple laps down, at 2 laps down, but if a caution were to come out, he would get one of those laps back. Like we talked about earlier, it's really hard to get back to 1 lap down. So, you know, we'll see if he can, you know, somehow find his way back into this thing.
He's also, if the yellow flag comes out, has to make sure he's not the driver involved with that incident, as we're seeing drivers even deeper into the field. It's going to be Brandon Zimmerman, who's been caught up in a lot of the messes, Ken Campbell in this late group, and as well going to be Brandon Colley, who's all the way back in 28th position. Now, Colley is in the most precarious spot, the one, because of the fact that he is not pitted in the last 2 cautions. He is now in a questionable position of having to pit now, and he would not be able to make it to the end of this race if he had to pit at this current moment. That is going to be a tough spot to be, but he's trying his best to at least get to the marker of lap 83 to 84 is the number for Brandon Colley, as the last driver on the lead lap, Zach Hall, very wounded, running almost a full second off the pace of our leaders, even on the same set of tires. 32 is just banking on this race to end very soon, as he's about to go for 1 lap down, which will hurt Benjamin Nelson.
Yeah, I know Zach's definitely going to be disappointed with this tonight, you know, getting involved in that incident. I talked to him prior to the race, and he said if, you know, he could just keep everything clean, he felt really confident about his pace, and he thought he'd be up there in the top 5 contending, and I have no doubts he would have been up there, but unfortunately just got involved in one of those incidents that a lot of guys have gotten into tonight, and it's going to be a tough night for him.
Yeah, and also I think the big thing that hurt Zach Hall was before qualifying. He qualified all the way back deep in the field of that of 28th position, and never really was able to recover since then. But the drivers that are getting the most dramatic currently Our drivers battling just inside of our top 10 and outside of our top 10. Side by side is for Joshua Kanata and Sutherland. They finally cleaned that up. It's Nick Crawford. Third lane, Noah Steele in the middle, and James Heater inside groove, trying to pick and choose where is the speed. Currently on track when you're on 33-lap-old tires. And it looks like every lane has some advantages, disadvantages, and everyone's still searching.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot of guys moving around now. You talked about Nick Crawford kind of running that third lane, or that Larson line that some people like to call it. You know, ripping the fence as close to the wall as you can. There's pros and cons to that. You know, you can find a lot of speed up there sometimes, but you know, the margin for error is a lot smaller. So if you miss your mark just a little bit, get a little loose, get a little tight, really easy to get in the wall.
Brandon Colley going to be now, has just finished his pit stop, and the one will be back out on track, 2 laps down, needing this race to stay green. He wants to fight for a good position, but man, does this look intense. The 4, Mason Cassidy, getting a little bit out of control, and drivers as well, going to be on some fresh rubber. That's going to be the 77, and Noel went flipping, was on his roof, took the toe to pit road. Fresh rubber, you can see the major difference, even majorly damaged. There's speed in that 77.
And this is where we've seen issues, Sam, when guys start getting on different tire cycles, the fresh tires versus the old tires, and the difference in speeds, especially in the center of the corner. This is when we've seen issues happen. So keep an eye on this group, and let's see if they can get through clean.
And as well, you're seeing the fast driver, the 77, the slower driver, Zach Hall, and this is the danger zone. You got a lot of conflicting drivers on where they need to be, and squeeze in the middle is going to be Nick Crawford as Zach Hall tries to run the outside lane. That's where we've seen a lot of fast drivers been running, and as well, Noel able to get through that chaos. That's a big positive to take as Zach runs the third lane. Everyone else just has to run their own spot, avoid any carnage, and they will be set up and good. And a big surprise, Shane Terrian at one moment was battling for the lead. Now back here in 14th position, the 9. With some right side damage up in the wall, and the tires have faded away.
Yeah, it's a tough break by Shane. We just kind of highlighted him, thought he was doing a really good job, kind of quiet night, sneaking through the field, and looked like, you know, he had a little bit of contact with the outside wall there. It might be a little damage there, car not handling quite like he needs it to, so still in a decent position though, 14th outside the top 10, so hopefully he can hang on, get some fresh tires, and make another charge.
Trying to make that charge late. Also, you saw the 4, Mason Cassidy, a lot of tight moves as you try to get by Christopher Wade. The 4 machine, big kudos to Mason Cassidy, has gotten a lot more into running these oval races. And the 4 machine, biggest mover currently, up 18 positions. You got to take those positives for yourself. This is just outside the top 10.
Oh yeah, I mean doing a great job tonight, just running right outside the top 10, working on that high line right now, battling Shane Terrian, who's I think he's not by Christopher Wade there up to 13th. So yeah, really solid night so far for Mason Cassidy.
Cassidy could be stealing another position. Alex Fonseca looking highly uncomfortable in the 24 machine in 11th position. Field still continues to march their way forward as a driver completely out of shape in her top 5. That's going to be Danny Cochran in the 2. Major scare as he was getting out of shape quickly with a pack right in front around him. That was signs of danger to be thrown, but luckily the field reacts cleanly and we keep ourselves staying green as we are on lap 89 of 133. We still have 1 pit stop left here tonight. Can the drivers survive for a green flag pit stop, or will the caution balloon out, as this looks to be the most chaotic position on the track?
Yeah, by far our longest run of the night so far. We got 40 laps on this stint for a lot of these guys, and this is where it is not fun as you're a driver. Your tires are very worn out. The handling is not very good. You know, a lot of guys are just kind of hanging on right now, and you know, I don't think we're too far away from pit stops now, Sam. Probably going to be looking at maybe trying to do a one-stopper to get to the end here.
Yeah, I was aiming for my numbers. I was thinking these drivers are going to go for lap 94 might be the zone when you think about making your stop, mainly because that would be splitting this run in half. of a 43-lap run and then a 44-lap run to finish out this race. You might want to stretch it out a little bit further as Danny Cochran and Benjamin Nelson make slight contact. The two keeps it straight as lap car and lead lap drivers making some slight contact with one another, just showing the grip level is fading for all drivers out there on track.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are hanging on for dear life right now, Sam, and I think you will definitely see as soon as one or two guys start hitting pit road, I think it's going to get very busy. As Danny Cochran is really struggling right here. He's just hanging on.
And he's got to be careful because his teammate, Wally Fonseca, being the hurt most there because all the drivers at the 24 just passed, just ran the outside lane to get by the 24. That's a troublesome spot when you got a teammate that actually hurts you. But let's ride on board with the two because you can see even through the trial, I mean, the quad oval, it is hazardous for the two currently.
Yeah, he lost about 6 to 8 spots right there, and he's still dropping back, which, you know, it's tough. I feel like we were just talking about him up in the 3rd position, and he slid all the way back to the 14th position now. So, yeah, Danny's definitely going to be, you see him sawing on the wheel right here, just really, really loose, looks pretty uncomfortable, really is looking forward to getting to pit road and getting some fresh tires on that machine.
Speaking of pit road, 3 drivers have made their stops. It's going to be Cedric Hunter as well as Kyle Rochelle and others. Some major drop, though. It's going to be for Nick Crawford hitting his stop. We'll see Jonathan Cogswell and Kyle Rochelle leaving their boxes, but Nick Crawford going to be the first of those inside of our top 15 to make their stop. So the 74 going with the undercut, meaning that you're one of the first drivers to hit pit road, and perfect timing for some of the drivers up front. Kyle Rochelle going to be taking the lead over Larry Yingling. Yingling's been dominant up front, but in these last 4 or 5 laps, the 3 just found another gear and was 3/10 faster than Larry that last time by, showing the top lane is quick, and New Biggie's going to be following that same lane.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly had a really strong run last week at Las Vegas. You know, we talked to him. He was really happy with his run, and here he is, just taking the lead now. Got one more pit stop to make. Let's see if he can hang on.
As we're waiting for more drivers to make the indication that they're making their stops, and talking about closing rate for drivers, you need to be so clear when you're coming into pit road, especially for those drivers in the pack that we're seeing here up front and those that are around 10th position, because if you do not indicate to the field, I'm coming into pit road, and you just slam on the brake trying to get into your pit entry, someone behind you might run you over. So we could be seeing a caution or some major damage balloon out from drivers coming into pit road.
Well, it kind of goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier, Sam, when we were talking about kind of the brakes on these cars with the high, you know, the front brake dial being so much more. You really got to get on the brakes a lot sooner than a lot of these cars. So keep an eye out for, you know, locking up that front tire and possibly having some issues getting to pit road.
Top runners coming into pit road. First of them is going to be Douglas Newbig, aim till 7, pull it down into the entry of pit road. Also following suit to be Isaiah Sutherland. Danny Cochran finally getting off track was needed for the 2 machine, but drivers have to make sure that they don't miss their pit entry, and some have already overshot their pit stalls and had to back up. That's losing major time on track. As Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling going to continue to stay out on track. The teammates might be thinking about staying out as long as possible, as woohoo, Joshua Kanata showing off his wheelmanship off the exit of 4.
Yeah, this is where you're going to see a lot of different, you know, mixed bags here. You know, the longer you stay out, you know, you're kind of building that case that you're just really hoping for a caution, because you're going to be losing so much time to all the cars on newer tires here, and the guys that have pitted, they are just ripping through the field as fast as they can and try to get that track position.
And here is the understanding for these drivers and the major difference on those that have been staying out and those that are coming into pit road. Drivers that are staying out on older tires, they are about 2.5 seconds slower than what their fastest times were with fresh rubber, meaning the closing rate we were seeing before in those big wrecks that were happening in our first 50 laps. This is going to be even a more drastic closing rate. We have to keep our eyes out for if there's going to be a big wreck. Currently, majority of the field has made a pit stop, still waiting for our top 2, Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, to come into pit road as they continue to just stay out. Joshua Kanata, though, who we're seeing on screen in 3rd place, he's in a tricky spot because of the amount of drivers that are driving by him on the inside. If he does want to come into pit road, he might be forced to stay out for an extra lap unless he can find an opening to pull down to the inside.
Well, and just like you alluded to, Sam, you know, 2.5 seconds, that's a ton of time difference on tires. And, you really have to kind of have your head on the swivel, because you could have no one around you, and then all of a sudden you go in the next corner and you've got guys coming out of nowhere. So really need to be paying attention to your relative, have your head on the swivel, checking your mirror quite often, make sure that you're not in the way of these new tires.
Ryan P. Johnson into pit road, and he's got required damage. You hate to see that for the 28. He's going to come into pit road, going to be going multiple laps down, and overshoots into his pit box. It is a tough night for the 28. Leaving pit road, going to be the 24 of Ali Fonseca. As Larry England over the radio and Ryan Kelly both have notified they're coming into pit road, so they're going to be trying to get out of the way as soon as possible. We still have watching out for Ken Campbell, Joshua Kanata has just made his pit entry, and Ross Tatum still need to come into pit road to make their stop.
Yeah, I think the best case scenario for some of these guys that did the undercut is they want everyone to pit, and then they're hoping for a caution to come out pretty immediately after that, because you will have, successfully done the undercut, got in front of a lot of guys, and then you have an opportunity to keep that track position and then come get fresh tires. So that would be the best case scenario. And then the guys who are either still out on track, they're begging for a caution right now.
Yeah, and the drivers that are still out on track, Ross Tatum and as well Ken Campbell, they are staying out on track. They topped off on fuel under our last yellow, and were able to now extend their fuel for another extra 10 to 10 laps or so. 8 to 10 laps is kind of the window, but Ken Campbell over the radio coming into pit road after being passed by Douglas Newbigging. Yellow flag did not strike for the 15. 21 still has 7 seconds over Douglas, but that's going to be shrunk in about the next 3 laps that the 7 will catch up. And then it's a race to see who can catch up to Douglas Newbigging.
Yeah, we've seen Ross Tatum do this across multiple different races and multiple different leads, and stretch it as far as he possibly can, hoping for a caution, because that could really make the difference and give him a shot to win this thing. But I don't know, things look pretty strung out at the moment here, so we'll see if it pays off for him or not.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the caution flag coming out would help Ross, as well as this would be helping out Cedric Connor, Kyle Rochelle, drivers that have had some tough nights, that were at the track position because of an undercut pit stop. They need the yellow to stay up front. A lot of these drivers still have at least 1 to 2 tire sets to work with, and this would be the perfect timing with 30 laps to go on getting this late caution to set you up for a fabulous run to the end.
And one driver, saying that we were talking about, Isaiah Sutherland, he's up to 3rd place now. He is right behind Douglas Newbigging, and once Ross has to hit pit road, he's going to cycle to 2nd place here. And so, first start of the season for him could end in a win tonight.
Could end up with the win, as we're watching battling between 2nd place and Brian Johnson. Johnson trying to catch up to the 08 right in front of him to get a lap, will be the first driver 1 lap down. Currently, Johnson in a tough spot after having to come to pit road for an extra time. And as you're seeing that Trophy Smack machine making the pass, Brian, it is going to be giving us a shout out for the Trophy Smack crew. Trophy Smack is the place to go to be the envy of your competition. If you would like to go get yourself some great trophies, go to TrophySmack.com and use the promo codes WSSR Cup or WSSR Smack to get yourself 10% off across the board. Go check out the Wall Smacks. That's why WSSR Smack is there. Wall Smack is a great item to grab for yourself. It's a high gloss metal plate that also has a safe magnet mounting system in place. That metal plate that shows off your custom image, and a lot of the drivers, when they get a win, they give themselves a Wall Smack of their winning vehicle. I know our producer Rob Moyer has got a very excited, freaking fast broadcasting plate. They also added some LED lights on top of to brighten it up some more, so it is highly customizable. Go get your Wall Smack today from Trophy Smack. Thank you so much to Trophy Smack, and as well our title sponsor of Roasted Gems Coffee. Get yourself woken up and ready for the day with Roasted Gems Coffee. Use the promo code WSSR for 5% off. As you see that 13 machine on track, just wheeling it to Cedric Connor in 5th place.
Yeah, Cedric is getting all he can get here, and he was one of the guys that kind of worked the undercut strategy. So we'll see how it works out for him, and it looks like Douglas Newbigging has taken over the lead now.
Newbegin has just been quick. And I'm looking at the times right now. Ross Tatum's still out on track. Going to be needing to come into pit road very quickly is the 21 because he's just going to be losing more and more track time. But he has to run it dry because when the 21 hits pit road, that is waving the white flag and saying, well, I tried my best for a gutsy strategy. And when you're banking on a yellow, it doesn't always work out for yourself when you need some bad luck to strike. And sometimes you are the bad luck, as it's going to be seen 79 just blasting by fresh rubber. I mean, it's just you blink and you miss the pass sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the difference in speed here is just absolutely insane. But you know, why not? If you're Ross Tatum, haven't had the opportunity to be at 5. Whoa, that was really, really close as he's coming to pit road right now.
Talked about wanting to be clear over the radio or under driver's chat. Ross Tatum, zero communication. Ryan Kelly, as well as Larry Yingling, had zero knowledge the 21 was hitting pit road. And luckily, there wasn't any more extracurriculars on the pit entry. But, ooh, big scare, big slides all around. As the Douglas Newbegin trying to keep his way moving forward as he's got lap cars behind. Pressure rubber, trying to get at least a lap back for some of them.
Yeah, really, really good work by Douglas Newbegin on pit road. He's managed to cycle to the lead now, and we're coming to the end of this thing, Sam. Just a little over 20 laps to go now here.
Yeah, now it's kind of a waiting game of when Douglas is going to be caught by Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling, unless the yellow flag comes out, where Brad Delph and Brian with an eye, Johnson, trying to figure out how to get by the 7. They feel the comfortability with the tires, but aggressive side drafting by the 6. You don't see that very often with a lap car putting the big side draft on the leader.
Yeah, and this is where you got to be a little careful too if you're Douglas. You got some lap cars. You don't want to give up too much time trying to race these guys. So I think he's doing the smart thing here and trying to stay, keep his pace up, but you don't want to race too hard and kill that gap.
No, you absolutely do not. But with the battling that the 7 just had with the 6, costing greatly to cut Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling, as both of those drivers on the freshest tires are drivers inside of our top 10, and they are running with just a 5-lap difference on tires. They're running almost a full second faster than Douglas Newbegin.
That's insane, Sam. It goes to show just Atlanta. We've talked about it all night how high tire wear this track is, and just 5-lap difference, second difference on the time clock right there.
It's ridiculous to see, and also it kind of helps when the leader is being pressured by lap cars and you're able to just run your own race. Larry Yingling and Kelly get by. Cole Sacchetti running in 5th position. Not bad, and really running that Kevin Harvick scheme to its glory. A little bit of, you would say, luck that you hope to have. Just been shining on the 42 after qualifying in 15th, up to 5th. A good 10 position boost for himself, but I think the shining star of the night might be Sutherland. 2nd place currently. He's probably going to fall back to 4th very quickly here, but a solid night for 14's debut of Season 7.
Yeah, it might not quite end in a win for Sutherland, but man, what a great debut for him. We've highlighted him, Sam, and to come in here for the first race of the season, be up here at the end in a podium spot, doing a really, really great job tonight.
As it's going to see Sutherland figuring out where to place himself as the teammates of Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling just muscle their way forward. A little bit over 3.5 seconds, the gap between 1st and 2nd now. Some lap cars in between. And Douglas Newbegin trying to get into victory lane. Got the pole back at race number 2 at Rockingham. And hasn't had the best luck when it comes to the finishes of these races. It's been fuel issues the last couple of weeks. And the 7 here tonight, feeling like those issues might have been cleared up. But now it's on tires. Are the tires good enough to take this 7 to the end of the race?
Yeah, I've got my eye on the 3 car right now. He's starting to put a little bit of a dent in that lead. We've highlighted about 5-lap difference on tires right here. So, is it going to be enough for the 7 car? Is he going to be able to hold him off, or is Ryan Kelly going to have his chance to get him? Gap is down to about 3 seconds now.
As you can see, the differences between 1st and 2nd place. There was a lot of gains earlier on in the run, but recently it's cut down to just 4/10. Still good enough to close in on the gap. It's less than 3 seconds now, and at this rate, Ryan Kelly should be on that back bumper in the next about 10 to 12 laps. of the 7, which is going to give us a great duel to the end of this race.
Oh, you know what they say, Sam? Catching him is one thing and passing him is another. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see once he gets on that back bumper, how quick is he going to be able to maybe try to make the move and get by him, or is I'm sure the 7 car is going to be ready to put up a fight.
I mean, as well, for the 7 Douglas Newbie, it's not the fact that he's just got to worry about one driver. He's got to worry about the teammates. He's got to block 2 machines. Ryan Kelly and Larry Yangling both have been running almost identical times, pushing their way forward. And you thought maybe they stayed out a little bit too long and they were giving up too much time to the 7. Went for the kind of Goldilocks position of hitting right in the middle of the whole pit cycle. And currently right now, 2.8 seconds is the gap, and each lap that's being gained is shrinking more and more. That last time by was less than 3/10. That's what Douglas needs to see, is that the battling between the teammates is hurting the gain on the leader.
Yeah, this is a really tough situation for the teammates to be in because, I mean, you want to work together as teammates to catch the leader, and you can settle it between yourselves, but how much is Larry going to be willing to just kind of sit in line and ride behind Ryan Kelly here? Obviously he wants to go after the win himself, so is he going to be disciplined enough to kind of just ride in line and see if they can, catch him together and then settle it, or is he going to get a little too antsy and try to make the move now?
Ryan Kelly trying to get the first win of the season for the 3 machine. Been so consistent this season. The last couple of races has finished 3rd. The last 3 races, I don't think the 3 wants to get his third place here tonight. A win would fix all the woes, but Larry Yingling has been the driver that has kind of been a thorn in the side. The driver that's been a 3-time champ of the WSSR. 67 knows how to get it into victory lane and hoping to do it once more. 14 laps to go, and now the gap between first and second is less than 2 seconds now.
And like you were talking about, Sam, like that's gonna be tough for Ryan. He's running down the leader, he's got a chance here, and then you look in the mirror and you see that 3-time champ, who's your teammate, by the way, right behind you, breathing down your neck. So if you're Ryan, you're going, come on, man, cut me a break. Let me go up here and try to win this thing. But Larry's a competitor himself; he wants to win it too.
He certainly does, as more battles throughout the field. This is the battle for 7th place between Shane Darian and Noah Steele. Shane Darian, Noah Steele pitted at the same time as one another. The 88 is much later in the run, where he's been falling off on speed with the 9 as well. Long run has not been great for Shane Darian. Again, already has the win as the 9 this season, so he's feeling comfortable. It's more of just learning lessons and building blocks for once the playoff comes around. 13 laps to go. The gap between first and second is now down to 1.5. They're doing a great job between Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling the last couple of laps to close in on the gap. But Douglas Newbigging, currently, the mindset is do not let lap traffic hinder you at all. And there's going to be just one lap car that the 7's got to worry about. It could be the one of Brandon Colley, who is extremely off the pace compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, if you're Douglas Newbigging here, I mean, all you can do is try to look out your look out your windshield. You want to try to avoid looking in the mirror as much as possible. They've got fresher tires. They're starting to run you down. All you can do right now is look out that windshield, try to hit your marks, get through lap traffic as clean as possible. As you see, the teammates trying to work through lap traffic as well. But really good job for the teammates. I was interested to see if they'd start battling for second. Looks like Larry is kind of just running right behind his teammate, and hopefully both of them are going to catch him here and they can duke it out between themselves.
It looks to be lap 8 could be the window that we're looking to see the pass for the lead be made, and then it's the duel between the teammates, because Douglas Newbigging is running so far off the pace. I don't think he's going to have any chance to hold off the field. His race control, big thanks to that of Steve Benjamin, who's been race control for this season, giving us indication 10 laps to go here tonight in the 7. Bank on holding off this group, and for the first time, the teammates, they gotta be careful, because Ross Tatum, who stayed up the longest, is on the freshest of tires and is on the back bumper. It could be costing time for Larry Yingling and that of Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, that's really frustrating if you're a leader and you got a lap car on fresh tires coming up here. But Ross is doing all he can. He wants to get back on the lead lap, because if a caution shreds late, he wants to be on the lead lap and have an opportunity to optimize his day as well.
Kelly goes all the way to the outside wall, trying to find some extra speed on the straightaways and off the exit, slight wiggle, but is gaining quickly. That last time by, it was 7/10 was the difference between first and second. It's now gone down by a 10th. It just keeps on closing in the 3. It almost looks inevitable that it's going to happen, that he's going to take the lead position, and the 7, a sitting duck with 8 laps to go.
And honestly, Sam, like, Ross getting by Larry England here, it's created a little bit of a breathing room for the 3 car of Ryan Kelly. So that could be just what he needs to try to go attack the 7 car.
I mean, but with the fact that it hurt Larry Yingling, is the 21 going to hurt the 3 as Ross Tatum is sending everything that he has to make these passes? The 21's looking a little bit reckless. The timing of when these leaders are going to be battling between one another and Ross Tatum gets to that bumper, this is looking like it could be a calamity charge with 7 laps to go.
Oh man, it just throws a whole nother wrinkle into it. Knowing Ross how I do, I would think that he would just sit in and let these guys battle it out, but I don't know. He's on the move, and here we go, Sam. Ryan has caught him. He's on his bumper now.
He's on his bumper, and Ryan Kelly needs to make this pass or use the lap cars as a pick to get by our leader. It's going to be Brandon Conley, Brad Delph, side by side, and being closed in quickly by the 7 machine. But his preferred lane has been the inside groove, and that's where the lap cars have been. Ryan Kelly's been perfecting the outer lane, and it's a little bit of deking and moving. No, the 7 didn't expect for the 1 to go high, and it's a block pick. Kelly gets into the wall. No biggie gets blocked. Kelly to the lead.
Kelly, what a massive, massive run for him right here. He's going to take the lead, and there's not much the 7's going to be able to do. He's going to try to fight back. Ross Tatum still sitting as a blocker in front of Larry Yingling, but it's the 3 car of Ryan Kelly that's taking the lead.
And now for Douglas Newbigin, he's got to hope that there's a little bit of a mishap here between the 3 and the 6. 5 laps to go for Ryan Kelly. For finishing in 3rd place the last 2 races. He wants victory lane. He's shown the pace, and he just has to survive. But only bad thing, Larry Yingling, yes, there's multiple vehicles in between. That 67 does have slight speed and was faster the last couple of laps, but it might be just too far now for the 67 to close in the gap.
And Ryan Kelly started on the pole tonight, but he's been up and down the scoring board all night, but he might be right where he needs to be now as we're 4 to go here, and he's trying to hold off the 7 car.
Might have disappeared after that first initial launch, but Ryan Kelly outside, and Brad Delph gets out of the way, and it's clean sailing for the 3 machine. It is just set sail, hit your marks, and don't worry about the rest of the field except for a caution. That's the only thing that's holding this 3 back.
Oh yeah, Ryan Kelly is right where he wants to be right now. He made his move. He's gotten through the lap traffic. He's looking in his mirror and seeing that 7 car get a little smaller, and he's just pulling away. 3 to go now.
3 laps to go for the 3 machine, and Ryan Kelly, he's seen too many 3s, and he's hoping maybe today could be the run. 4th race of the season, and he is building up the gap bigger and bigger. Now looking at where drivers are lying, Ryan Kelly, the only driver he has to worry about might be the lap car of Kyle Rochelle, who's trying to unlap himself and make to where we got 16 drivers on the lead lap. But across the line, 2 laps to go. If a caution comes out now, we would go into overtime. Ryan Kelly, though, is banking on the white flag to come out, which would turn this race official as the 3 exits turn 2.
Ryan Kelly down the back stretch here. He's just holding his breath, and all he wants to see right now is that white flag flying in the air, and he'll know the next flag ends it. So here he goes. No cars in his way. He's pulling away, and as he comes off turn 4, he's looking for the white flag.
White flag is in hand, and across the line, Ryan Kelly given the Roasted Gems white flag, and this 3 machine is now just crossing his fingers, having the run that he was hoping for all night long. Got the pole, and now where he's in wants to be in the lead position. The pass for second is done. Larry Yingling up to 2nd place, but the 3 is too far ahead.
Ryan Kelly, he had the advantage on the tires. He was patient. He took his time. He ran down Douglas Newbigin with his teammate Larry, and he is now out front when the time is needed.
Exit at turn 4 and call this season the season of the rookies. The 3rd rookie to win here this season, Ryan Kelly. Put him in the win column.
what a massive, massive result for Ryan Kelly, and it looked like his teammate Larry Yingling got the second position as well. So huge 1-2 finish for those two guys.
And as well, the 14 of Isaiah Sutherland comes away with a fourth place finish, and Cole Sacchetti gets a fifth place. Top five strong runs. There's a lot of drivers that outperformed what we were expecting to see here tonight. But Ryan Kelly, who has been so consistent, who continues on his streak of top three runs, gets the first win for himself. This three machine, a lot of fighting and clawing had to go down there, and he didn't get the pass as early as I thought he was going to, but he got it done and never looked back. I mean, Josh, Ryan Kelly, he looks like right now one of the most consistent drivers of this season, and as well, a driver that could be a major threat for the championship.
Well, we talked to him last week, Sam. He had a really, really strong run at Las Vegas last week. You talk about consistency. He was really excited to come to Atlanta this week, and it's kind of funny, if you look on the scoreboard, he started first and finished first, but he was all up and down the leaderboard tonight. But he played the strategy perfectly, had a little fresher tires, was patient, and he made the move when it counted. And now he's in victory lane. So great win by Ryan Kelly tonight.
Ryan Gal's going to enjoy burning it down. And for us up in the booth, we are going to step away for a quick second. When we come back, we'll have the post-race show talking to our top three and as well as Spotlight Driver right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. Race number 4 is in the books, and the TrophySmack.com 200 winner goes the three machine of Ryan Kelly. Kelly had a wild one here tonight. Got the pole, had to fight and claw his way to get back to the lead position, but the strategy was perfect. And a victory lane, we find the three machine. Ryan, what a run for yourself here tonight. Congratulations. You're done with finishing in third place, and you're now in victory lane. How are you feeling after this performance tonight?
How about that, right? That was a wild race. I'm feeling really good. I'm happy to win one of these things, finishing third last 2 weeks. It's it's tough to win one of these things. There's a lot of fast guys in here, and I'm over the moon right now.
Well, Ryan, you got it done tonight, man. You got the first win of the season. I'm curious, we talked about as the laps were closing down there, you had your teammate right behind you there, kind of breathing down your neck. Was there any communication for you guys to work together to catch the 7 car, or were you guys just gonna duke it out and whatever happened happened?
Yeah, we were mainly working, communicating with the lap cars. Just, he was letting me know he wouldn't, try and pass me or anything while we were dealing with the lap cars. So that really helps. And yeah, that could have been the difference tonight. Just, giving each other a little bit of give and take, and we just caught them that much quicker.
I mean, it was beautiful to watch you and Larry working as a duo after the pit stop, and curious on the mentality of staying out as long as you did. We saw a lot of drivers that stayed out, not able to bounce back as quickly as they wanted. Did you guys make that decision of we're staying out practically as long as the fuel is going to allow us, or was there a thought to pit a little bit sooner?
Yeah, after those couple cautions there, we decided once we had the freshest tires in the field, and it was all filled up on gas, we thought we'd just run it out there till the end and try and make that last stint real short and real fast. And thankfully, it worked out that way.
You guys certainly were really fast out there. Congratulations on the win. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours.
But yeah, all the teammates tonight. Always nice having good teammates, and all the people that run the league. This is a very well run league and a great place to race. So really thankful to them and all the sponsors, Roasted Gems and Trophy Smack, and you guys in the booth for putting on a great show. And hope everybody watching enjoyed.
Well, it made sense for the numbers to align. Ryan Kelly, going to be the third rookie to win this season. Congratulations, Ryan, and good luck next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
As we go from victory lane, let's go to second place. Talk about how the teammates were working together really perfectly as one, and the other one will finish in second place. Larry Yingling with us. Larry, congratulations on second place. I know it wasn't the win that you wanted, but man, how are you feeling after your performance this evening?
Oh, I feel great. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do. I know I won here last time we went here, and I completely forgot about that. I had to be reminded that a couple days ago. So in past history, I'm either run top five the whole race or destroy my tires, and I'm glad the better part of that was my race.
Well, Larry, I might have to hit you up for some betting advice for the future because I asked you pre-race, how you were feeling and what your thoughts were, and you said you were feeling confident about a top five, and you thought your teammate who won the race might be one of the favorites. So I think you pretty much nailed it tonight. So I guess my question to you is, I talked to Ryan and asked about the teamwork there. What was your mindset as you guys were working on trying to run down the 7 car, and did you have any kind of urge to try to pass the 3 car when you guys were trying to run him down, or were you just kind of in teammate mode and help him out, try to get to the leader?
Mainly teammate mode. There was one or two perfect opportunities. I think I might have possibly got around him. I know one coming off of four, he got stuck behind someone on older tires, and he would have got stuck behind him. I could have went under him, but I knew I didn't want to just waste more time battling each other while trying to catch the leader, the main objective. So I stayed behind him, and I figured he would have better tires than me anyway at the end of it, and it seemed that way. Uh, but I've seen Ryan drive at Atlanta the past few years, and he's always the favorite, no matter what car it is. So I'm definitely not surprised.
I mean, we will talk about one thing that's kind of surprising, though. We've got 4 races in the book now, Larry, 4 different winners, and still you haven't gotten to victory lane. Brian hasn't gotten to victory lane, nor have a lot of the other favorites in past seasons won yet. Are you shocked by how competitive this rookie class has been on the wins that have been popping up?
Not really, as I know the driver talent we got in this league, especially this season. Uh, I know even last season, it took me like 5 or 6 races to win one, and the talent just got probably doubled this season. So it's definitely, I remember before top fives was okay, but now top fives, you've worked for them.
Well, Larry, it was incredible to watch you and Ryan carve through the field there late to get a 1-2 finish. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
I definitely want to shout out my teammates this race, Devin Brock, Ryan Kelly, and James Heater, along with DeAndre, James, and Carolyn. And for my sponsors, Muffin Sports Cards and Port City Cards. On Instagram, if you're interested in the hobby of collecting cards. And if you are interested in weight training or nutrition, check out Daniel Payne 1 on Instagram, virtual or in person near the Shreveport, Louisiana area. And Cody Glenn Cox Music on Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. A big shout out to you guys for the race as always. And I think next week's Darlington, I believe. Can't remember the last time I ran there. Turn 2 scares me, so I hope for a good top 10.
Well, it certainly is going to be terrifying for a lot of people, Larry. We can't wait to see how you perform. Congratulations again for second place, and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
As we go from second place, let's head down to third, where we got Douglas Newbigging, who thought he had a chance to get the win, but was passed late. Douglas, you come away third here tonight, but still a very strong performance for yourself. How are you feeling coming away with third?
Pretty good, I'd say. Just had a really good car tonight, and I thought I had the right strategy going. And obviously, it was close. I got hung up by a couple lap cars there, but I feel good. I mean, especially after last week at Atlanta, I had a really should have won that. I probably would have won it just by where I came out of pit road ahead of the winner, and but I didn't. The car didn't take any fuel. That was the issue. So fix that problem, and tonight definitely showed. Especially at this track isn't really my best, but it's up there. So it's good finish for P3. Good for points, especially when I know a lot of the points leaders and whatnot had a really bad day. So I'll take it.
Yeah, Douglas, I guess just kind of follow up to that question. We documented tonight, how fast you were last week and the issues you had with the fueling. How important was it for you to come out here and have a solid night after last week?
I think it was pretty important. I mean, I'm pretty confident that I can get the regular season championship because I'm pretty sure I've been reading a little bit, but pretty sure you get extra playoff points for it. So I'm kind of counting on that. But even though, then again, like the playoffs, those are my best tracks in the playoffs. So basically my goal is survive, pick up a win or two in the regular season. Then when we get in the playoffs, it's just like lights out time. But yeah, it's just building a barrier up, getting back to regular season points. I think I'm 12th in points now or something like that. And if I literally finished 5th in point or got a top 5 last week, I would have been the leader. But just got to slowly climb back up from that mistake from last week, and hopefully we'll be right where I should be, right on top.
I mean, it really looks like you are at that pace to be on top of the points at some point, at some period of this season. We're now heading to Darlington, Bristol, and Legacy, Texas. How are you
Yeah.
feeling about these next 3 races that are coming up?
Darlington is probably going to be besides like Sonoma, which I mean, okay, like Sonoma, let's be honest here. But besides that, I mean, Darlington, I'll be okay. It's definitely not my favorite track. 3 and 4, let me tell you, I think 3 and 4 is beautiful. If they could just tear down 1 and 2 and just put another 3 and 4 right there, that's my opinion. All right. But yeah, that'll be difficult. If I get a top 10 there, I'll be happy. Legacy, Texas, I'm pretty decent at, and then Bristol, I'm really pumped for. So I'm pretty stoked for that one.
Well, we're excited to see how you're going to perform at these next 3 races. Douglas, congratulations on third. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Yeah, obviously Roasted Gems Coffee. Got to give them a big shout out on the car sponsor of the league. Look at that. That's a coincidence, You get 15% off using Lucky Ducks. One word, Lucky Ducks, for all your coffee needs. And then No Kids Hungry Charity. RS Button Boxes. Trophy Shack, sponsoring the league. That's dope. Freaky Fast, you guys put on the broadcast. Love you guys. You do an excellent job. And yeah, very, very nice. And then obviously Lucky Duck Motorsports, all my teammates, got to give a shout to Cedric and Brian, Brandon, Cogswell, those guys for sticking it out. I know some of them had damage and they got us good team points, so it's always good.
Certainly was a solid recovery for those guys and a great performance for yourself, Douglas. Congratulations again for third, and good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you guys hopefully in the booth soon.
We hope so too. That's going to be the 7 of Douglas Newbigging coming away with third place. Now let's go down to fourth. Chat was excited to see how that of Isaiah Sutherland was going to run. And let's talk to the 14 machine. Sutherland, you come away with the 4th place finish in your debut race of season 7. Man, how are you feeling? Because that was an excellent first race to have here tonight.
Oh man, I feel really good. I know a lot of the guys that race in here, and I've been pretty successful in next gen stuff in other leagues, and I've been wanting to run some Gen 4 cars, just the high horsepower, low downforce, and heard about this league and saw all the guys in here, and definitely a little intimidated. I did not expect to be in contention for a possible win or even a top 5, so it blew me away. I was able to hang with these guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Isaiah, congratulations on a really, really solid run for your first race of the season. My question for you is, just give me real quick, kind of like the highlights of your night. I mean, we had a crazy race from wrecking on the first two starts of the race, and what was your view of all that, trying to kind of just survive and then pick your way up to the top five?
Well, thankfully, I qualified good. I think I qualified fifth, and so most of that stuff was a couple of rows behind me. I knew the restarts would be a little weird at Atlanta because the old Atlanta just not much grip, and then these cars you got close to 900 horsepower. So I knew that was going to be a little tough. Cedric, which I know very well, I've used to race with him in other leagues. I think he lost it right beside me on the first on the restart, and I hate that for him. Thankfully, he didn't come back up; he went down. But other than that, I mean, just never raced around some of these guys in here or a good amount. So I really was just hopping in first race to figure everybody out. Again, did not expect to be in contention the way I was, and noticed a lot of people were really burning their tires off. And so I would actually just give up 3, 4 to 5 positions uh, after pitting just to let people go up there and race. And 5 to 10 laps would go by, and I'd start picking them off pretty quickly. The only thing I wish I could redo is that second to last restart when we had the long green flag run into the green flag pitting. I messed up strategy just a little bit, but I really think I could have pulled one out here.
I mean, it was a solid run overall, fourth place for yourself. And we're not really going to any easier tracks after tonight, heading to Darlington, Bristol, and Legacy, Texas. How are you feeling about these next four tracks that are coming up?
Yeah, I'm excited because I have a little bit of experience in the Gen 4s, but not as much as probably some of these guys that's been running in here for a good while. So I have a good handle on the car on some tracks. I don't think I've driven this car on Darlington or Bristol, so gonna have to see how it goes there. I know Darlington is just a different animal in and of itself. So pretty good there next gen, like I said, but in this car I'm going in blind, so. Um, Not sure if I can run a full season. Definitely going to try, especially with how much fun I had tonight. But looking forward to Darlington to follow some of these guys in practice. Maybe I can learn how to get up close to that wall in these cars and not loop it, and try to stay clean. And then Bristol, it's just you just hope for some separation, um, uh, and hopefully it stays a little single file there for a little bit. No one get beaten and banging, but it's Bristol, so you know that's going to happen. So looking forward to it.
And where you're, if you're just doing a part-time run this season, that's okay. We're happy to have you racing out on track there, Isaiah. And it was awesome to see you perform as well as you did here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, got to give thanks to uh, good Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Shout out to my parents and got some family members that tune in and watch. My girlfriend Dalen, she tunes in. She's a big supporter and puts up with my crazy addiction of racing. So shout out to her. Had a teammate in a different league who actually came over and spotted for me tonight. So he was a huge help. Shout out to Robbie Darnell, my teammate at Bad Fast Racing Motorsports. Shout out to everybody in the league. This race blew me away. I'm really excited for the challenge. Everyone's really quick and pretty smart with the racing craft. So shout out to the league at WSSR. Lastly, sponsors on my car, Sutherland Used Cars. It's my uncle's dealership in Northwest Tennessee, a small town called Union City, Tennessee. If you're ever close to the area, traveling or on vacation, and you see yourself through, check out the car lot there. They do have a Facebook. You can look them up, just Sutherland Used Cars. And then Virtual Academies on my car. That's police officer training for retired or active duty officers. You can sign up for a year subscription at subscriptions.virtualacademy.com/sign up. You guys at Freaky Fast, the streams are always professional, so really thankful for you guys that you put on a good show. And then all the fans that tune in and watch, we really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for coming out and racing. It was a good one. That's going to be your fourth place finisher of Isaiah Sutherland. Congratulations. And we can't wait to see you back out on track again.
10-4, thank you much.
Well, that's going to be our four drivers we got to talk with. Top four we all talked to. And now it's time for us to get ready to look at the unofficial results, as tonight's race did not start out the way we expected. First two starts, the initial start and our first restart of the night, calamity certainly did strike. Then we had a couple of incidences of drivers running into one another, but at the end of the day, we got a great long green flag run where the drivers showed out and showed who was going to have the better strategies to come away with the best finishes possible. And it's Ryan Kelly getting the win for the 3 machine. Then Larry England going to be coming away in second, with Douglas Newbig in third. Isaiah Shelley, Sutherland going to be coming in fourth, with Cole Sketty fifth, James Heater in sixth, Noah Steele seventh, Shane Terrian finishing in eighth, with Cedric Hunter, after his great rebound, going to come away with ninth, and Christopher Wade finishing our top 10.
Yeah, as we look a little further down the scoreboard here, a couple highlight guys. Joshua Kanata finishing 11th. We talked to him in the middle of the race, and he was concerned about he may have been burning through those tires too quick, but he got that long green flag run he needed. Brian P. Johnson there in 15th. Actually, a strong recovery for him after having some issues there with that lockup. King Campbell, who got involved in that first incident there, thought his race might be done before it really even got started, and rebounded to a 19th place finish. And of course, Benjamin Nelson, he was going to be one of the favorites tonight, and got caught up in that first accident there, went 2 laps down, and was really unable to recover. And so a lot of different guys, with tough nights a little further down the leaderboard there.
Yeah, very tough nights. Brent Ferraro, after collision with Brian Noel, the cause 77 to go flipping, was our first driver to be out of this race. A big shout out as well to Jonathan Cogswell, 14th position, biggest mover of the night, and Noah Steele, the second biggest mover. Well, that was incredible racing we got to see. Big wrecks, carnage, and it only gets tougher from here. Atlanta 2008 configuration always brings out the best in the drivers. In this vehicle, the Gen 4, it's been a blast to watch. 4 races down, 4 different winners, and we're still waiting for some of the most winningest drivers in WSSR history to get to victory lane. Still haven't seen Brian Johnson win, haven't seen Larry Yingling win, nor have we watched Zach Hall get into victory lane. When will those 3 get it done? We'll have to find out later on in the season. But Josh, what a crazy race we got to see here tonight. What are some of your final thoughts before we get ourselves out of here?
Yeah, Sam. We had a little bit of everything. We had a massive wreck before we even really started the race. They threw the green, had multiple favorites get taken out early. So the calamity on restarts, and then just the saving of tires, the different strategies, when guys are taking tires, when are they not, the comers and goers throughout the field. But at the end of the day, Ryan Kelly, he had the fast car, he had the right strategy, had maybe a little help from his teammate not racing him too hard. And Ryan Kelly, he's going to be our 4th different winner this year. And man, I'm loving this series, Sam. It is just, there's so many competitive guys in here, like you just said, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now. So I'm looking forward to Darlington next week.
The drivers certainly have been putting on a show this season, and we also got to give a huge shout out to the sponsors here at the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series, that being Roasted Gems Coffee. Remember to go use the promo code WSSR for 5% off on getting yourself elevated for the best coffee out there of Roasted Gems Coffee. And as well, a lot of big wrecks, a lot of memorable moments that could have been our wall smack wreck of the race. I think that of Brian Noel's barrel rolling flip might be taking the cake there, and might want to get yourself a wall smack image of that incident. Go head over to trophysmack.com and remember to use the promo code WSSR SMACK to get 10% off of your wall smack image. Thank you so much to the field for a fabulous race. For myself, Sam Dyer, for as well Joshua Altis, Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us here tonight. We got more racing coverage tomorrow night. Want to see more Gen 4 racing action? Well, the Stars and Stripes have got you covered. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. And when you hit that subscriber button, remember to also hit the bell notification button right next to it to make sure you're notified the next time we are live, so you don't have to worry about what time is the race again tonight. You'll be notified when we go live. Thank you so much again to the viewers that were watching with us tonight. Congratulations to the 3 of Ryan Kelly getting to victory lane as we call it a night. Thank you so much for joining with us, and we will see you tomorrow. Stars and Stripes, get ready. Gen 4's in Michigan. We'll see you on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.